Hey there, everyone. I am so sorry I won't be able to be with you tonight for Technique Tuesday. I did not want to leave you in the lurch, however. I wanted to provide a project and introduce a new bundle to you to kick off March. Happy March. Having spring fever myself. It was a really nice day with a little tinge of chill in the air, but bright and sunny. And I certainly enjoyed that. I hope you had a chance to as well. So to kick us off in March, we have a new bundle and collection called Waves of Inspiration. And we will see this bundle of the die set and the stamps. We will see this again in the annual catalog that comes out in June. But Stampin' Up! Is giving us a little bit of an early release. And with the bundle, that means the stamps and the dies, with that bundle comes some extra goodies that coordinate beautifully with this particular set. And those items that coordinate with it are limited time. So what that means is the bundle itself, stamps and dies, will carry over, if you will, into the annual catalog. I shouldn't say carry over. They're going to be a part of the annual catalog. We're just getting our hands on it earlier. And you can too as a customer starting today. But these next items I'm going to show you that coordinate with it are limited release or limited time offer. So that means after May 2nd, you won't be able to get this designer series paper that I'm going to show you, the jewels that I'm going to show you, and this gorgeous foil paper that I'm going to show you. So in addition to the stamp set and the dies, the current release includes this gorgeous paper. It reminds me of that crafting technique you may have seen that people call paint pour. You may have seen that on some different channels where folks have this wonderful effect by pouring different layers of paint and allowing it to just flow across the surface. Is just gorgeous. Well, here is the designer series paper component to that. This was designed in-house by Stampin' Up! Artists. It's just beautiful. I'm going to show you some coordinating colors as well, but let's go through the designer series paper first. You'll notice on the front side of each design, you have a wonderful deep blue. These blues are Night of Navy, that's the darkest blue, and the slightly lighter blue is Pacific Point. What I love about this particular bundle is that I am being forced to use some colors I hadn't picked up in a long time. I can't tell you the last thing I made with Pacific Point, so this is pretty cool to just force me to use some more of my colors other than my tried and true standards. This also has Coastal Cabana. That's that light greenish blue here, or blue-green that you see. On the flip side, it gets a lot brighter and lighter. You see Calypso Coral and Petal Pink in there. So here's another design, and the flip side here has some more of that Coastal Cabana and Pacific Blue. It just makes you think of ocean waves. It's so pretty. You can see a hint of Daffodil Delight in there, which is really pretty, brightens it up a little bit. This particular, if I turn it this way, reminds me of where maybe the horizon meets the ocean, perhaps. It's so pretty. This one is really pretty too. This reminds me of one of those frothy drinks that you get from the coffee shops or cafes. There's a flip side to that. And look at what happens when they introduce that bright green. That's Granny Apple Green, which is so pretty. A beautiful complement to all of that blue. Here's the flip side with more of the Daffodil Delight and some hints of Petal Pink in there. I think that's a repeat. Yep, it's a repeat. This one reminds me of like a galaxy or something. Though. This is so pretty. And here's the flip side to it. So a really wonderful combination of brights and deep blues on that paper pattern. I want to show you how wonderfully these colors of cardstock match up. I always try to provide you with a glimpse of what those matching colors are like. So here they are, nice bold colors with some brights in there. There they are. Again, I can show you how they kind of match up. Really, really pretty. Absolutely love that palette. I noticed I didn't pull out the Coastal Cabana. I didn't notice it until I flipped that over, but Coastal Cabana should be in here too. I just didn't pull that out. See how those go together nicely? It's really, really pretty. So that's the one side. I really should have pulled the Coastal Cabana. I have the ink pad because the project that I'm going to use to demonstrate, or that I'm going to make, is actually going to be using Coastal Cabana, but sorry about that. Missed that particular sheet of cardstock. That's really, really pretty right there. All right, and here's the last one. As another part of this special release, we also have some foil, 12 by 12 sheets of foil paper. I want to show you that too. You may not be able to get as good of a perspective because of the lighting here, but we have 3 sheets of foil. Let me grab the other one really quick. I've been cutting off of this one. That coordinates all the blues, and then this pretty silver gray, okay? So those are your foil sheets that are also limited time only. So again, the only things that will carry over are the stamp set and the dies as a bundle, of course, in the annual catalog. Here is the set or the package of Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Hope you can get a good feel for how sparkly and pretty those are. They go the best with this paper. I love this. I wish these would carry over. I might have to get a couple of these while this ordering period is open. So again, these are, that whole thing that I just showed you is available right now through May 2nd. And after the release of the catalog comes out, you'll be able to get just the bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies, okay? All right, the next thing I wanted to show you is the dies that you can cut from this. So whenever I get my bundle, I've started just going ahead and cutting out the dies that go with it so that I can see how everything goes together. So I'm going to actually use this little wave. It's cut from the foil. I don't know, there you go. I think you can see the foil when I give it that little shimmer towards the light. So there's the wave. That's an overlay. There are 2 of these. One of them is just a little bit shorter. If I remember correctly, let me see if I can match those up. Yeah, one is a little bit, just like a hair shorter, and maybe taller. The other one is a little bit thinner. So here's one I cut from the Pacific Point, not in the glimmer paper, okay? Those are 2 different dies in that set of dies. Here is a cloud. We have a lot of cool cloud dies and punches I've noticed this season, and I really do like that. In this case, these are dies, and so this larger cloud has a cute little overlay that goes over part of the cloud. I don't know if you can appreciate that yet. So that's really pretty. Gives some depth and dimension to that cloud. There we go. I think you can see it better that way. Gives some cute dimension to that cloud. I don't know if I would have thought of that or thought I needed it until I saw it. Here's some really tiny birds that we can put as a part of the background. They actually come in 1 die, but the 1 die cuts 2 of the birds. And then here is a really neat cutout of the pelican on the pier post. So that goes with this stamp, okay? And I love anytime I can cut something that I stamp. I can use a die to cut it or punch it. I love that. So that die matches it. And here are 2 sort of labels, if you will, where you can stamp some of the sentiments and have a nice little frame around them. So the sentiments in this one are, our friendship is a thing of beauty, you're so totally awesome, a little tiny happy birthday, and your strength is an inspiration. Okay, so let me clear this out of the way and go ahead and make the project for tonight. I wanted to show you at least one sample for tonight, and I will probably come back next Tuesday and make some more. And so again, I'm gonna miss you tonight, but I have something with work, and then we have some stuff that we need to prepare for here at the house for tomorrow. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you with the project to start off March. Okay, so I'm going to use this Pacific Point as my base. So this is a standard 5.5 by 4 1/4 A2 size card, and I cut a piece of the Designer Series paper. I did cut it at 3 3/4 by 5 this time, so 3 3/4 by 5, because I did want more of the Pacific Point to show from the background there. So let's go ahead and glue that on. I could just as easily use this side. I'm glad I flipped it over so you can see. But I want to brighten it up a little bit, just a hair. And I'm kind of casing a card that I saw in the samples from the flyer that's posted. And I'll probably post that as well to make sure you have a point of reference. And because it is new, again, just available starting today for customers. And I went ahead and stamped my big wave here in Coastal Cabana. And I'm gonna layer that wave with one of those wave die cuts. It's more of an overlay. I'm gonna lay that over it, and then I'm gonna cut out the entire wave. Now this time I did not put adhesive on the back of this die. I probably would do that, especially if I'm making a lot of these, just because it's so intricate. I don't want to deal with having to be so careful with this glue oozing out from the bottoms and all around. So I'm just sticking to some of the thicker parts to make sure I can put enough adhesive to where I can get a good stick on that wave without worrying about it coming off. I should be okay with that. Probably should have put some on the end, but let's see what happens. So I'm just gonna layer it on here to the wave. That foil paper really does a good job right there. Okay, and I'm gonna fussy cut the entire wave. I'm gonna fussy cut the entire thing. So just a quick cut. So the solid wave does not have a die that goes with it. Get rid of this extra paper. It doesn't have a die that goes with it, but I can quickly fussy cut this outline. It's just a nice big outline, and I can easily follow those lines without it getting too complicated. I don't like fussy cutting usually. I love my dies, I love my punches, because I don't have to worry about things looking raggedy when my cutting gets off. But for this purpose, fussy cutting shouldn't be too big of a deal. Okay, so I'm just cutting around, following the shape of this wave. Has some irregular parts, but the other parts are nice and straightforward. Just going to trim that down a little bit, getting next to that foil as a guide. And boom, I'm done fussy cutting. So I won't complain too much, okay? Done with the fussy cutting. Okay, so to adhere this, I am going to adhere it flat. I'm not going to deal too much with any dimensionals on this one. This is meant to be a nice quick one. The longest thing that it took for me to do was to simply do the die cutting on this and maybe the fussy cutting, but I purposefully meant for this to be a quick card because I wanted to show you an example of how it goes together. And using that Designer Series paper on the background gives you an idea of how you can start making a horizon that meets the water, which I really like. Okay, on this one, I did cut, or I did adhere the adhesive sheet to the back because I want to layer on this really nice feature to the cloud. So let's see if I can get that going. Oh, there we go. That was pretty easy. This one, because it's so intricate and small, definitely you want to use the adhesive sheet on it. So I am peeling off that adhesive backing, and this little feature just goes at the bottom of the cloud. And maybe I will pop that up, okay? Here's the second cloud. That's a little bit smaller. And then I have, oh, I just realized, forgot about that. There is a smaller layer, overlay, if you will, to that next cloud. I guess it is, or it's a scrap one. Nope, that's it. For some reason, I ignored that. I didn't realize that the small cloud had the overlay too. All right, whenever I use my adhesive backing on these little tiny features, I need something like this pokey tool or your take your pick tool to help me get it started, help me get the adhesive started off the back. So isn't that pretty? It's just a nice little feature for layering the cloud. It gives you some texture there. And then I've also put some adhesive on these little birds that I showed you earlier, okay? So let me peel those off and just adhere those birds. I only cut 2, but I'm gonna put them down first. And so you get, again, another way to distinguish sort of the horizon from the water, which I love. This is a nice set that's very versatile. The paper is versatile. I can see all sorts of cards being made from this for both masculine, more masculine type cards. I think we need more of those. Oh, I said I was going to pop that up, so I didn't really need the adhesive backing on that. I am going to stick to popping that up. You can see here I'm down to the very last few dimensionals on this. I don't waste dimensional paper. So once I'm done with my shapes, I still use the little border that comes around with that. I will use it until there's nothing else that can be used to pop anything up. That's just the way I am. Nothing goes to waste, okay? And there. Hope that won't show. Oops. And let's pop this next little cloud in between here, okay? Now, I'm gonna do something that I always tell you not to do, and that is stamping after I have put my paper down. I always admonish you to not do that, simply because if you make a mistake, it's almost like ruining the whole card. Well, I'm gonna take my chances here. I'm gonna take my chances. If I mess it up, I can go back with the with one of those little cutouts that I can put words on, so I can cover it up with this if I want to, if I mess it up. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I will get a nice straight sentiment here. That's one thing I don't like about the clear mount stamps that are words, and that is whenever I am stamping, it's hard for me to see where I'm going with words, and so I might go up the hill or down the hill. We never know. So now I'm going to use that trick I showed you last week for mounting your clear mount stamps. So I peeled off the happy birthday sticker, and I'm putting it the stickiest side, or the sticky side, face down on the block. I already lost part of the cover there, so I'm just going to pick this next cover up here, what's left. All right, you notice that's backwards, so to speak. I have placed my stamp face down on my grid paper, and now I'm going to just simply align my sticker to the back of the stamp, making sure that I have everything going in the right direction. This is the easiest way that I have found to mount my stamps. It's the easiest way I found to do it, to make sure that, number one, the labels don't stick all over my hand, and number two, I can align the labels to the back of the stamps pretty solidly. Like, I don't have too many problems aligning that. Okay, so I have chosen, let's see, maybe I'll choose Pacific Point. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll choose Pacific Point to stamp the happy birthday right here on my paper. And then I'll be done with this card just that fast. Again, I told you it's not too cumbersome. It doesn't take a whole lot for this one that I chose to make for you tonight. And let's see what I do. Watch, it's going to be uphill or downhill. I didn't do too bad. That wasn't too bad. What do you think? Not too bad at all. And of course, I'm going to have to finish it off with some jewels. Now, as I said before, I can see this being a more masculine bundle where you can make cards for the dudes and their birthdays. But dudes can do bling too. And so I am going to put some of the blue, the dark blue rhinestones here for this card. I'm not going to necessarily, well, I guess I could still do my rule of 3 here. Do a small one. But the dudes can like some bling too. Dudes deserve bling too, right? Oops, I can turn that right side up. We'll be good. All right, so there we go. That's our first card, first glimpse at Waves of the Ocean collection. And as I said, I'll be making something else with it for next Tuesday. And hopefully life will be a little bit quieter next week and I can actually come to you live. I do enjoy that time with you. Thank you for watching. A couple more announcements. So I told you that Waves of the Ocean bundle went live on today, March 1st. It's good through May 2nd. They will be orderable. After May 2nd, the stamps and the dies will be available in the annual catalog that's coming up. But we also have a new savings opportunity that I just have to let you know about. So the mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. So you've seen my mini before. I'm grabbing it really quick. This is a mini. It's the tiny version of the big one, right? This is on sale between March 1st, so starting today, through March 31st. And the sale is 20% off. So that would be $48 in US dollars. So $48 for the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And as you probably already know, that comes with the plate and the plates and the platforms, everything you'll need to go with it. So these things come with it. Of course, my clear plates are all scratched up because I use mine a lot. But in addition to this being discounted 20%, there are selected bundles with dies that will fit this mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss that are also 20% off. So there's a list of them, and I'm gonna rattle them off here, but I will post a list of these as well for your reference. But they include the All Squared Away bundle, Art Gallery bundle, Beauty of Friendship, Celebrate Sunflowers, Garden Wishes, Hydrangea Heaven, Pansy Patch, Quiet Meadow, Seascape Sweet as a Peach, Welcome Window, What's Cooking, and Wildcats. They have to be purchased as a bundle to get the 20% discount. So again, the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is 20% off, plus a selection of bundles that will fit the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Those select bundles are also 20% off. This particular promotion is only good during the month of March. The last announcement that I want to call your attention to is my Paper Pumpkin event scheduled for later in March. It will include, or the event will include, putting together the March Paper Pumpkin Kit. That March Paper Pumpkin Kit is very special simply because it includes an additional stamp set. And so I want to bring your attention to that. You need to order that before March 10th in order to get your kit for March and have it in time for the event. All right. Thanks for watching. Chat soon.